The word stress can be used interchangeably with tension, anxiety, or depression. These words never existed when we were kids. Now even small kids know them. There is a phenomenal increase in the stress levels in the lives of people, which has led to so many psychological disorders over the last few decades. No doubt, technology has increased rapidly, and the tension has also increased even more steadfastly. So, the technology and the tension, both T's are rising in upward direction. Ideally, technology should have helped to reduce the tension levels, but in reality, it's other way around. In this regard, there is a story of a rich woman. Once she went to the market and she bought a beautiful golden cage along with a parrot in it. Every day she used to clean the cage nicely. In this process, she forgot to feed the parrot. In 2-3 days, the parrot finally died. So the technology has helped us to focus on things externally. But in this process, we lost the focus on taking care of things internally. So our life has become like that rich woman who was just taking care of that golden cage, and then she lost the focus on taking care of that parrot inside that cage. So most of us understand that there's a problem, and majority of the people in today's society are living a stressful life. So let's do a root cause analysis of this very problem, and then we'll talk about the solution also in detail. So Bhagavad Gita provides answer to this very problem just in 2 words, Dukhalyam and Ashashvatam. So the nature of this material world is being described here in just 2 words. Dukhalyam means this word is full of miseries, and Ashashvatam means everything is temporary here. So let's first talk about how the nature of this word is temporary. For instance, if someone likes to eat pizza, how many pizzas one can eat? Maybe 2, 3, 4. So it can be compared with the principle of diminishing marginal utility that we studied in economics when we were students. So the nature of this word is temporary, and everything that we pursue in our life is temporary, and the ultimate outcome is that once we explore something, we are done with it, then our mind starts working in some other direction, and then we are again bored with it, then we try to do something, and then at times we get into stress, and then we get into a lot of problems in our life. Let's talk about the second aspect, that this word is full of miseries. Miseries can be further classified at a broader level into the 4 categories. Janm, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. Again, this is from Bhagavad Gita. Birth, death, old age and disease. And people who are intelligent, they understand that these are miseries. So how these are miseries? Let's talk about all of these 4 miseries one by one. So birth. We all know that when we are in the womb of mother, we are standing in opposite direction for more than 8 months. And if someone is being asked to stand in the opposite direction just for even half an hour, it's very, very painful for all of us. So this is the first problem. And then second is death. No one wants to die, but no one can escape from it. And the third one is Janma, Mrityu and Jara. That means old age. No one wants to become old, but as the time progresses, everyone has to become old in life. There is no escape to it. And the last one is disease. We all know that every day, now and then, we get to hear some new disease, and there are very few rarest people in this world who are 100% free from the disease. So these are the broad classification of different miseries that exist within this world, and then there are other more classifications also that can be further discussed. Now we discuss the problem part. If there is a problem that is being referred in Bhagavad Gita, there has to be a solution also. And in that very same shloka, there is an indirect reference to the solution piece as well. So let's discuss the solution now. So there are conventional alternative to overcome stress in our life, like yoga, deep breathing exercise, massage to the body, listening to the music, running. And then there is a Vedic alternative. In Vedic alternative, one focuses on chanting the holy names of the Lord. And this chanting of the holy names of the Lord is also known as mantra meditation. Now, how mantra meditation helps in overcoming stress in our life. So the word mantra, it's a Sanskrit word, and it is made from two syllables, man and tra. Man means mind, tra means deliverer. So mantra is something that delivers the mind. It delivers the mind from the unwanted or unnecessary thoughts. So how does it really work? So there are two things that we need to keep in mind when we are focusing on mantra meditation. One is we need to have a practice. We need to have a proper practice. And the second is we need to know the science of mantra meditation, how it works. So these are the two things that we need to work on to really have a very powerful effect of mantra meditation in controlling the stress in our life. And then someone may ask a question that which alternative one should really exercise. We talked about two options, conventional alternative and Vedic alternative. So one option is to just focus on Vedic alternative, and the second option is, okay, let's continue with the conventional alternative as many of us do in our day-to-day lives, but in parallel we must also add Vedic alternative, because that will help us in developing our relationship with God. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. So we should be smart enough, and we should try to use this strategy of using the Vedic alternative, because that will give peace to the mind, that will help us in living a stress-free life, and that's what we all need in our day-to-day life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.